in pursuit. Down goes Curran. Hand pass comes back from O'Keefe. A centering kick. Gee, that was ambitious from Hanbury, and the mark is taken by Montagna.
Dennis, we've talked a lot about Montagna when we've watched him lately. He's having a fine year. There's a good mark on Malcheski, and Lee's taken a good one as well on Rampy. He's a good straight kick, this guy. I think, Tim, you might have given out his stats. We're certainly talking about it earlier before the match. He bats at about
75% from set shots, 12 goals for his kick. He's just got the most beautiful kicking style.
And the follow through gets the knee to the forehead.
It's like he's posing for a Scanlon's card every time he has a shot for goal.
He almost does himself damage. He'll knock himself out one day. You'll see it here, but this is a testing kick. But what a great start this would be. There you go. Keeps that head down, and if he looks up, he's going to be really happy. What a great shot. Well, I reckon Kevin Rudd and Tony Abbott would love to go from 75 to 77% right now. That's what he's just done, Tim. He is a beautiful kick.
He'll knock himself out one day with his knee on his head, though, if he's not careful.
Well, he hasn't so far, obviously.
That is a beautiful kicking action.
Have you seen anyone quite like that?
No, I haven't. But apparently, I've heard him talk about it, and the fact that Paul Hudson actually helps out down there at StKilda, so he's been following Hutto.
Probably doesn't like Tom by the sound of it.
Well, we know Paul Hudson was a really good kicker goal. His old man, Peter Hudson, was great too. But there you go, just everything straight, everything in line. Doesn't even look at the ball.
Some guys take the glove off, other guys take out the mouth guard. There's never been a bloke who's kicked who put on a helmet. Kennedy, Mumford. Now Malcheski from half back down towards half forward. Saints with the opening goal. They meet at the football. Bolton spins out of trouble. He's kicking a few goals this season, and he bounces one through. How's that for the quick reply? Long and out of defence, it's Dempster.
Blake was good again there. So Grundy has to chase, and then he just tries. Well, he's through strength held up, and he did well against Lee that time. Everett, Richards, interesting. Saunders, a good give now. Revolt, we know what a power runner he is. Oh, he's done brilliantly. Revolt gives it to Stephen, balances up. This will be a team goal. How well was that played?
Just slipping, and Newms couldn't do much about that.
One of this big group of midfielders, Parker. Well, he got himself into a bit of a pickle there. Shaw sort of got in his road. Not Shaw's fault, by the way, but gets it back now, Shaw. McVeigh. And that kick to Everett. First time Everett's played 15 games in a season. Bringing it up today, McVeigh, terrific. Gets it to Grundy to fall forward. Tippett in a pretty good spot. Well done, Gilbert. McGlynn talked a lot about how effective he's been early. Back to Tippett and finds him. He's been so lively, McGlynn, hasn't he?
Yep.
He's up to 6 possessions already in this first quarter and working right up the ground. That was really good defensive play by Gilbert there to come off his man early and affect the first spoil, but Tippett then just stayed around the goals, and he was lucky enough to be standing in the right position when the ball was crossed.
So 63%, 20 goals, 12 is his accuracy rate. He can be off at times, but he's been pretty good in the Swans jumper, and that's a lovely kick. So Tippett gets his first, and Sydney get their second. Working his way back towards the finals. So Kennedy on the wing. Decides to load it up, and he gets a bit on that kick to Tippett the fly. Again, 2 to beat. Well done. Mumford did the roving. That's a clever kick coming forward by Bolton. And McGlynn, who Tom talked about other avenues to attack, and McGlynn running hard. He's been impressive in the opening term. He was the leading goal kicker at the club for much of this year until Tippett had this burst of late. And believe it or not, Tippett's actually leading the Swans goal kicking after playing only 8 matches.
That was a great kick into that space that he led into, though, too. But as soon as he looked like they gained possession, he was off McGlynn.
And kicks the goal.
And a few of the faithful here sitting behind me getting restless with the Swans. It's just that polish. I mean, I think everyone identifies they've got the top-end talent, but they're certainly not playing to it at the moment, Sydney.
I hope they're not getting restless with the state of New South Wales football. Giving it to Tom from 10 metres away. Meanwhile, on the forward line, Curran tracks it back, snaps around the corner, and I think he's kicked the goal. He has. Well done, young fellow.
Didn't he?
Mumford first hand to it, knocked away by Armitage. Back to McAvoy. Del Santo, wonderful balance. The champ out of defence goes short. Armitage, well, he took them on. McGlynn didn't peg him. Now a chance for Ray. His foot skills have been handy. Schneider, Montagna goes back to Robertson. Montagna runs hard away, doesn't use him.
Great
kick comes in. It wasn't a bad kick. Armitage was up, fell to the ground heavily, didn't touch the footy. Rampy was in there. Bird. Oh, that's left clean in place in golf. Opportunity for Armitage. Another open goal. Minchington runs in and gets it from point blank range. Well, how about this? The underdogs lead.
All season against a really top 4 team, a defending champion. Bird forward, and well done.
Fine advantage.
Blake was really brave there. Now the advantage is not great, but Geary kept it in. Now does he get a good kick away? Schneider, that's in the back.
Push. Straight back.
I think a push in the back's always a push in the back, even if you do it with your posterior, don't you? So Bolton gets it. Malcheski to load up. Measures. Pike got it. Yep. Good mark. He's kicked 20 goals this year. Only Bell Chambers at Essendon's kicked more goals as a ruckman. I mean, this guy has been so good. And the Swans are back in front. And he never, well, he can't miss that, but he never misses.
Boundary throw on outer side. Pike is there. McAvoy reaching over the top. One by Pike down in front. Taken by Kennedy. Breaks a tackle. Kicks towards the wing. Parker leads in the race. Coming across on the angle was Ray. Ball goes back to Bird. Bird pops it forward. Jack, who's been quiet. Forward to the wing inside the forward 50. Onto the chest, or the hands more particularly of Tippett. Doesn't let the ball come onto the chest, gets those hands out in front, and he has a chance to kick his second goal, but it's been down there a lot.
And just no pressure on the kick here. There were 3 Sydney players there that just streamed into that open space, and you see Kieran Jack there, plenty of time just to size that up. And Blake, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that.
His best season for Adelaide was 09. He bid at 55. Going at his 29th goal in this abbreviated season with the Swans, and it's pretty good. That's his second. Stretches the lead. And he's coming off for a break. Often you see that with a guy who kicks a goal, but also it's been down there a heck of a lot. So he's been in the action and probably feeling it a bit, and I'm feeling tired just watching Jaron Geary. He's been terrific, as have a few of those Saints defenders.
That's a fine specimen, isn't it? It's a massive man.
Just a much better forward structure here for the Swans to see the ball coming in, and Kurt Tippett's got space to work into. I think where they've come unstuck, Pike and Tippett and White been flying for the same ball, so expect to see a little more space and a little bit of isolated play from the key Swans forwards.
So can the Swans make a move here before half-time, or can the Saints hang on to them? 7-point game. Nunes just fell over at a critical time. McGlynn so busy and lively, laces it out to full forward. Terrific effort again there by Gilbert against Pike that time. And then Del Santo, who's been running with O'Keefe for much of the day. Shaw's had a really good quarter. Not the same numbers as Geary, but he and Geary have been the outstanding defenders in this second term. One in that jumper and the other for the Saints. It's been a good game. There's Shaw's numbers. They're impressive. He's been able to run and carry, and he's kicked the ball generally effectively today. Mumford front spot, shielded the ball well. Curran has to kick it as far as he can. He wants this to get towards the boundary line. White's quick, we know. He's got a powerful leg, White. Looks up, well done. Finds Lamb on the burst. And suddenly Sydney are finding inside 50 targets in a marking position. Well, Lamb's last crack at goal wasn't impressive, but he's better angle here, you'd think, for the right footer. Look at those inside 50s, Tim. I mean, they are so lopsided. And yet on the scoreboard, it's 10 scoring shots to 8. This one to give Sydney, for the first time today, you feel like a real edge in the match. On the board, at least. That is a much, much better kick. So Lamb kicks the Swans away. Still ball to be extricated, and a ball up.
That's like the All Blacks and the Wallabies last night, then.
That was a more high-scoring game in the end, though, wasn't it, from what we've got right now? But we'll get past that.
Here's Ray. Hickey won it down. Armitage in trouble now. That's holding the footy. Well done. Kennedy closing him down. And he's lifted Kennedy. Wants to go. Plays on. Kicks inside the forward 50. Tippett trying to work back off his man. And he takes the mark.
Isolated is going to be very difficult to stop. Dempster almost came into that contest, and we saw it early in the game where it was either Dempster or it was Gilbert that was giving Blake a chop out, but they just couldn't get there quickly enough. There's a great tackle there by Kennedy on Armitage.
Early going in the third term. Kennedy up to 23. 6 of those in this quarter.
That's just strength. That's just brutal strength.
He's hard if he gets you under the ball, isn't he, Tippett? The sort of bloke in any contest you really shouldn't try to outmark. That can be the result. On 2. It quickly developed that way. McVeigh. There's the threesome. Grundy across the ground. Richards takes Revolt on and runs away. Kicks inside the forward 50 again, and Lamb this time able to take it. You need to be so precise bringing that ball out of defence.
I think that's, even though Sydney haven't played particularly well this afternoon, I think they've actually defended that really well. There hasn't been many times where we've said that St Kilda's been able to go from one end of the ground to the other in a rebound situation.
Marks inside 50 this afternoon favour Sydney 11-1. That was the 11th right there. For Jed Lamb, no easy kick this one. It's on the way. It's through. He loved it the moment it hit the boot. He's got 2. That was a terrific kick. Missed an early one. Probably as easy as just about any he's had this afternoon. That was the hardest by sure, that last one. And he slotted it. And I reckon within a split second of making contact, he knew, as they say, he got it in the sweet spot. And it was a goal. 2 goals to Jed Lamb. And the lead is stretched.
Yeah, it was a great kick. It's like an 8-foot downhill of that kick, wasn't he? Just as you said, he got the right angle. Tom, you know a bit about him. He's been good, Lamb, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He was a high draft pick. They said Stephen Johnson like skills around the goals, and the Swans rate him really highly internally. Just had some hamstring troubles as a young fella, but he's starting to cement his spot in the side.
For sure, having a really good day. Montagna had a bit of an airy. O'Keefe, and now McGlynn to full forward. Tippett held up by Blake. Shaw getting forward. Running out of room. Gee, Shaw was brilliant, and Tippett's going to kick his 4th goal, and he does. Reece Shaw, how did he get that angle? Well, Dennis might be right about Tippett getting close to his all-time high, but Saints are disputing it. But was Shaw over the boundary line when he kicked the ball back? But it was such a clever bit of play. How he was able to extricate it back, and then there's a bit of a mumble-jumble in the goal square, but Tippett was certain. He's having a big quarter.
I think they might think that Tippett juggled it over the line too, so
a few arguments.
Going for a double whammy they are.
Well, there's a cross from Shaw back to the goal. Now, look,
that's good.
I reckon that's a mark.
Yeah, me too. Well, probably not a mark because it's only, 7 metres from post to post there, but Mike Pike, it's a lot of humanity to tackle, I know. Maybe he likes Canadians. Ball comes out towards Hanbury, hard against the boundary line. Geary misses it. Now an opportunity for Mumford, feeds it back inside. Is this 5? Yes, it is. Kurt Tippett is rolling at the SCG.
Well, Macca, there's been something very neat about his goal kicking in recent times, or since he returned to footy this year. I'll let you finish if you like.
No, go on.
Well, his first 3 games it was 2-2-2.
Oh, yeah, gotcha,
and then it was 3-3-3, and he's almost up to 6-6-6.
He's spot on, Tim.
The Rain Man. I'm talking to the Rain Man.
And St Kilda have activated their stuff. Stephen Milne comes onto the ground to provide a bit of spark for them. Just trying to work out who may have come off. Saunders has come off the ground. Not sure whether that's been the substitution, but straight to the wing there on Kieran Jack and pushing forward.
So Tippett with 3 goals in the third term, 5 for the match. And Milne can quickly involve. Kennedy's having a big game. Jack running hard, little pushy kick. Hanbury quite his first half. Great season. Well played inside. Parker's been busy all day. Gee, twists and turns. That's good play by Parker. And a pretty interesting kick, actually. Gave his forwards half a hope. Ross, good stuff. Nunes. Now, can they deliver? Revolt, well done.
Great kick.
First time, really, Nick's been able to get on the lead today.
Well, this is a gift now. He'll be on the goal line kicking for goal here, Nick.
Hasn't missed kicking a goal this year, Tim. Every match he's played, Revolt, he's kicked at least one goal in that match, so he's going to get his goal today. He's had a couple of shots so far. He's looked in good form, but Richards is such a great opponent, and he hasn't had a lot of quality ball, and he gets on the board, and at long last, StKilda get a 5th goal. It's been a while.
Got the hand pass out. Hanbury, beneficiary, kicks it long down towards half forward. Tippett could have almost got a free. Will get a free.
Tippett.
He's got 5 goals, and he's Tipper out to score here, but he wants to get it on quickly. He'll kick from about 60. Sends it down towards White. White works in front and takes the mark. Well, he did that last week from memory. Took a one-hander, so he's quite adept at doing that. Working against the body with the other arm or forearm and just controlling the ball. That was a terrific effort. And Tippett, sensing he had an opportunity, kicked it to his advantage.
Well, Farron Rowe really didn't even go to the ball, did he? Yeah, I mean, that's a mismatch there.
Yep.
It's Robertson that's supposed to be on him there, but he just lost him.
Even that's probably a mismatch as White comes in and puts it through. So Sydney getting the goals now. There's Robertson. Defensive side of the centre circles, goes across the ground. Grundy edged under the football. Smith in trouble. Spills across to Grundy again. Smith, clever hand pass. Cleared the area. Bird loops it over the top. Now here's danger. His ball usage today has been very good. Shaw kicks inside the forward 50. White had a strong target and tussle. And now it's crumbed by Jack. Quiet afternoon. And another goal. Of doing things at high speed.
That was great, wasn't it? I mean, it's just a lovely little moment in the match. Let's hope that he gets an early touch and gets through. Stephen, busy. Ray, Robertson. Can the Saints do something constructive here? Back kick. That's a really disappointing by Robertson. McVeigh, now he doesn't waste the ball, McVeigh. Out wide, there we go, right on cue. Hey, Tom, this is great stuff, isn't it? You're right down there with it. As Rowan's kick forward is a beauty. What about the reception, Tom?
Oh, he's a crowd favourite, no doubt. He's been warming up. He's got spring in his heels, and he came on to the second and third efforts to apply through the midfield, then get on the end and use it well. And we see there Kurt Tippett, the player who's been substituted off. He gave Gary Rowan a ruffle on the head just to say welcome back to footy, and you can just sense from the Swans players they've got such a unique bond that they're wrapped for Gary out there today.
So it's McGlynn who's kick one. He's going to go short, and he finds the target.
He had the mark first.
In Bolton.
Kennedy's played some quarter too. He's had 13 touches this quarter. He's up to 19 contested possessions and 10 clearances. So he's been the pick of the midfielders out there today.
So Tippett, since he's been back, 2 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, 6 goals, 6 goals, 5 goals. He doesn't quite do it, but Bolton does it, and he's got his second. So he's got 26 for the year. McGlynn's got 25. Tippett over 30. It's a lovely spread. This is what you want. And that's a good reaction. Rowan involved. It was his pass to McGlynn, and then McGlynn on to Bolton. So there he is. His first kick in, I think Dave told me 483 days. I think it's that long since he's played. So that's a long time in anyone's language.
And Tom, you've been watching him up here for a while training, and he did the pre-season, didn't he? So he's had a lot of actual training under his belt now.
Yeah, he has been, Tim. As Bruce mentioned, he spent a month in the NEFL, and all of the commentary coming out of the Swans camp at the moment, he hasn't lost any of that explosive speed, so they're expecting a full recovery. And from what we've seen, even just the little snippet just before, he's got a lot of zest in his legs, and so it could be a weapon in September, I reckon.
Drifting bounce, umpire lets them go. Bird flings it over the top, taken by Jack, stolen by Armitage, then he fell over almost three-quarter time. Del Santo goes to Schneider. Schneider inside the forward 50, read well by Richards. Wait for the siren.
Ross, Everett, Bird, back to Everett, sweeps it to McVeigh, and then McVeigh sort of teasing a bit, and then down the line, Pike the target.
At the back of the pack, it's Dempster. Needs to keep it in. Needed to be careful. The man was bearing down. Hickey did nicely. Back to Revolt. Claimed by Richard, stolen away by McGlynn. McGlynn looks up inside the forward 50. Gilbert in terrible trouble. Lost the flight of the ball, and he's back momentarily to the kicker. From that moment on, he was shot, and the mark was taken by White.
That's when they're dangerous, aren't they? When they can isolate their matchups inside their forward in their forward 50 with their big tools. But early days, St Kilda were able to get across in numbers. I think there's more pressure coming on the ball carrier as well. But now, when they're able to isolate those, and there's not the same pressure, it's become a real difference.
And the kick to advantage, I mean, there's virtually no hope if they do that, and that was. And now White, having a big afternoon, gets his second. Once that ball was turned over on the wing, the pressure was good, forcing it, and then the kick really gave Gilbert, who was irate, but it gave him no chance. I think he was irate that they managed to muck it up on the wing as much as anything else, but when the ball was in flight, he was done.
It's still a curious question, though, isn't it, as to what they're going to do in the final, Sydney.
Still 20 degrees here in Sydney today. It's been an absolutely beautiful late winter's day and a lovely time of the evening, and for the Swans, they're really getting some space here. White's been very, very good. He's had a huge second half, as has his team. Most of the quieter players in the first half have excelled, and those that play well early have continued on. Armitage, Milne hasn't had much of an impact, but it's been difficult coming on for the Saints when he did, and that one just missing the target. And Rampy's been outstanding, but they've had a lot of good players. McVeigh, so cool, McVeigh.
Oh, good kick.
He is a good kicker. Now Mumford, it should sit. Well done, Mummy. And then Jack running on to it, coming back. That's a great Swans goal. So Jack's kicked a couple, and all those guys. I mean, Tom, you talked about. I'll come to you in a minute, Tom. In about 28 seconds, I reckon. You talked about Jack and Hanbury at half-time and all that stuff, but suddenly, Sydney are feeling good about themselves, Tim, aren't they?
Well, they've just run away from their tags now, haven't they? His third quarter was very good too. Kieran Jack Jones had done a pretty good job on him, but it's just their running power, their ability to spread.
Tom, you mentioned Hanbury, Jack at half-time and others, but it's been a good reply by these guys.
Yeah, it has been. Bruce, it was important that the Sydney Swans midfielders got hold of the contested possession. That's what they've done. Jack only the 9 disposed in the first half. He's moved up to 18 now with a couple of goals.
Hickey to Stephen, kicks it down towards half-forward, and Milne did nicely. Spring-heel Jack out of there, sends it inside the forward 50. Revolt! Well, he doesn't tip it.
He got that at the highest point, didn't he?
I'll say. Real stretch.
I mean, he's taller than Teddy Richards anyway, but he really stretched himself to the maximum then.
One of the great Saints of all time. Nick Revolt, 5 times best and fairest. You just wonder what the record books would have said or would say had he been a more accurate kick. He started as a dead-eye Dick, and his latest effort is pretty much like that. He's got 2 this afternoon.
It's a bit of Pike, Hickey and Pike together, good stretching from both. Curran, and now they're on the Saints. Curran's kick, good. And Ross, who's Tim's nephew. Tim, so your sister's son, correct?
That's right.
Sebastian Ross?
Yep.
Sharon, your sister?
Yes, that's right.
I think you must be proud to see him out there in the Saints Guernsey.
Yeah, no, he's a good young fella too. He's still got a little bit of work to do in terms of his development, his footy development, but he's been rewarded with another couple of years on his contract at St Kilda, and they see him as one of those young developing players they've got in their midfield.
So Job's a bit older. I mean, they must know each other pretty well, the cousins.
Oh yeah, very well over the years. Yeah.
So Jack Stevens had a really good day again today. That one looks good off the bird. I reckon he shaved at home. He's kicked the second goal. I mean, wow. Some of the teams in the top 4 got good records against each other, but the matchups will be fascinating because, Geelong versus Hawthorn, for instance, Sydney versus Collingwood.
Bird got it from Kennedy, sends it deep into attack, and the mark will stand. It's paid in front to Pike. I haven't seen a lot of Fremantle this season, I've got to say, and I really haven't picked well when it comes to Fremantle, invariably getting them on the wrong weekend, although there haven't been too many of those. There have been for me, but not necessarily for Fremantle. I've thought without Pavlich and Sandilands, and particularly McFarlane, or particularly McFarlane and Pavlich at either end of the ground, in some games they would struggle. They've overcome that, and it looks like when they get to the finals, depending on what happened to Sandilands today, and that seems just superficial, they'll have those guys, and they will be, I think, better than a lot of people, like me, who haven't seen much of them, will expect. They won't go away. Pike, meantime, kicks his second goal. Mike Pike.
Far and just a bit wide.
So, Tom, what do you think in the finals? Do you think you go with the four of them, or just two, or go with three?
Look, I think three is probably the optimum number, and a lot of it depends on where Sam Reid's at with his body. But when it comes to the two ruckmen, I've got Pike ahead of Mumford at the moment.
Pike had the football, Kennedy, White, so two of the big guys involved right there.
Does White keep his place, do you think, Tom?
Well, that's the discussion. I think is that Pike and Mumford is a head-to-head competition, and Jesse White, as I say, depends on Sam Reid. And if Sam Reid's not, near enough to 95, 100% fit, I think you go with Jesse White. His form's been fantastic, and what I've loved about his game this afternoon is this sort of play, pushing up as a centre-half forward, not the deep anchor full forward. It's been really positive.
Well, he's auditioning for the finals, and I guess it's fair to say too he's auditioning for other clubs around the competition if he doesn't make it. He's got three. Big finish.
Geary, he's got a big engine, Geary. He'd be a good marathon runner, you reckon, don't you? He just would keep on going. He's a determined man. Armitage inside. Montagna off that step. Now he gets a fair bit on it, but it was a poorly directed kick, and Richards was quicker off the mark than Revolt. Bird's on the burst here, and they might be able to really get inside 50 if this sits for Bird. Chasing the ball out towards centre wing. Got a chance to straighten up and then caress it to McGlynn, and he takes the mark. His batteries would never run out McGlynn's, I don't reckon.
He's got the ever-readies, hasn't he?
He's a lively player, isn't he?
He should do that bunny ad.
It's a beautiful kick, McGlynn. I love the way when he's in full flight. I mean, he's kicked 1-3 today. You might say, well, beautiful kick, but he just times the ball so sweetly, I reckon.
There you go.
Thank you. So he's kicked a couple. So he and Jude Bolton are having their own little race behind Tippett at the moment. They're both on 26 goals. They've kicked 2 today. He's just a really handy player, isn't he, in that forward line? He's a complementary player. He's creative, but he's really good front and square, and he's constructive, Tim.
He plays that high half forward really well, though, too. He rolls up the ground at the right times, and he's able to get up the ground, and then he's able to time his runs into that space really well, too. Often appears without an opponent.
So that live ladder, look at the Swans, just getting a little bit of separation.
Sam Reid looking on. Jared McVeigh, big last term, 11 possessions. So the Sydney fans paying homage to their favourites now after being a little unsettled in the first half when the game was close. Del Santo in trouble, got boot to ball, sends it out wide. Stephen hustles again. Montagna goes down towards half forward, going back with the flat is Hickey. It was interesting a few moments ago. Montagna, Bruce had the call and it went wide of the mark. Revolt gave a lead. It went behind him and Richards went back and took the mark, and Revolt almost reluctant to look back over the shoulder. Eventually he did. But there's mutual respect there. Those two have climbed the mountain together. There was almost at the end a wry smile between the pair. It's been a tough afternoon, and they both acknowledge that. Meantime, Hickey, kick is on the way. Looks good. Looks beautiful. Straight through the middle.
Kicked a couple of goals. He's had a terrific match. I mean, he and Kennedy have been the biggest accumulators today.
This bloke runs with the ball, though, too. Like, he can actually break up the play, which is not something that Kennedy can do, even though his best work's inside and he frees players up with his handball. But this bloke can break the lines.
Well, this will top off a really great individual day for him. Hasn't quite done it, but he's still had a big part of StKilda's efforts today. Rowan back was great to see. We saw a lot of Geary. It was a good win for the Swans. I mean, they were challenged and they responded. Tippett got his 5 goals. Had a lot of contributions, and in the end they got some percentage. So double the score in the end and a bit more.